Hello, fellow readers and investigators. Thank you for joining me and thank you for being here. So, I'm launching this channel, and just to give you a little preview of what I'm trying to do, I'm launching this channel in order to bring forward a series of passages that will later, it's something I'm working on in my book. That is basically the modern translation to wisdom compared to the modern world. So, what I'm trying to achieve here is give us a platform in order to make us think better critically, solve some issues, give people different frameworks they can use, that I personally use. Not trying to lecture anybody specifically in terms of giving advice, but more as in an active investigation and me considering myself a student of um, of wisdom. Let's say I've always been searching for these threads throughout history. That's my main objective here. So I'll be exposing these passages that I wrote. I'll be reading them. We'll be reading them together, and we will be also investigating them or trying to arrive towards better conclusions and a better way of, more balanced way of living. Also, how to make choices, show a couple of also nuances that we deal with, how to identify information, give you some like some stories as well and examples. So it's going to be a mix of everything. We will also analyze philosophical thoughts. We will go through those thought schools from ancient Greece to the ancient Egyptians, Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy, Middle Eastern philosophy, Islamic philosophy, etc., and try to find what is the common thread between all those points. So, today I will start with the introduction, and I hope you like it. Let's go. So, intro, who am I? I am 37. I've been told I write like someone who is 60, but I've been also told that I look like I'm 26. Been told. I can write about the origin of life and the first thought that shaped creation, but when it comes to me, I fail to perceive my own totality, complexity, and dimensions. And when I'm doing so, my ego refuses to pedestalize nor romanticize my own path. Ask me about my journey, and I'll tell you who I am. For I am still me at 13, running away in tears. I am still me with a Les Paul on my back and tunes in my heart. I am still me, the teacher who taught languages through the six principles. I am still me, the married young successful entrepreneur with a ninja race bike. I am still me, single and wandering the streets for a month looking for shelter. I am still me, still figuring out what it means to be me. Aren't we all? You tell me. So let's I'll try to give you my commentary on this passage. So it is something very weird nowadays that we're surrounded by a lot of commercial aspects of just capitalism in general. I don't want to go too much into microeconomics and macroeconomics and the social elements of it, but it's very weird when you have to talk about yourself. I think this is one of the, or to me at least, it's one of the weirdest things because, and that is part of the premise of the entire book. By the way, the book's gonna be called Ketab, so a modern translation. So the entirety of the idea behind the book or this passage here and the intro, who am I, and when I'm trying to talk about myself, it is, to me, it is a very weird feeling because I look at myself from the interior, from the inside out. And maybe somebody else can look at me from the outside and they could notice other things about me or try to describe me in ways that I could not perceive. At the same time, it is very easy to pedestalize or victimize or romanticize, meaning give too much meaning to your own experiences and try to appear, kind of try to have a moral upper ground when you're talking to people about yourself. But because we are compelled to give a description about who we are, what I refuse to do here is I refuse to give it kind of a commercial introduction, and I've tried to give you the range of some of the experiences I've been through and phases that make me who I am today. So, certainly, if you look at me, you would never figure out or even predict that I've been through like half of these experiences, but I actually did. So when I give you this introduction, um, I, my favorite part is this, aren't we all? Like, aren't we all still searching? Whatever you like, and no matter what age you're at, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you're always kind of trying to figure out the sense of the world, where you are in the world, and trying to figure out how do you navigate the world. So that's why to me it was interesting. It was I think one of the least favorite things I had to do is write about myself. And to be very honest, guys, to be here in front of the camera is very uncomfortable for me. I don't like to take pictures. I'm a very private person, but I think I've reached a point that um, I even thought about doing these videos without showing my face. But it's really important that you back up what you say and for you to be present with whatever to actually own whatever you're talking about. So to me, that was very, very important. To me, being present and showing you who I am, not being afraid to show up and stepping out of my comfort zone is very healthy. All right, so this is the introduction, but this is not actually the first page. The first chapter is just an introduction towards my whole concept. When I was asked to like if I could go back and give myself an advice, what would I tell myself, right? Well, how would I, if I, let's say I met myself when I was 13, what would I say to myself? And because I do believe in destiny, so I do believe there are certain factors in our life that we cannot control necessarily, we didn't ask for. My first response was I wouldn't say anything. I would just let that person be because he still has to go certain experiences. But at the same time, if I was forced, like literally you have to say something to yourself, I would say this. And I got this and I called it the riddle from the future. So I would tell myself a little riddle and allow myself to kind of try to solve this riddle later on. I would tell myself something like this. I would say, don't think too highly of yourself, but trust your instincts. Move in the world, but make sure your footprints are yours. Take advice and then see it in your heart that it is your own. The wise man keeps one eye on the road and one eye on the ground. For the road is long and has some sharp turns, and the stepping stones aren't always there. The grass will be tall and the signs will be scattered, and often your sense of direction will be off kilter. But know this, in your heart is a mirror and a compass that you must polish and maintain, so it may guide you towards the light of truth, even when embraced by the darkest shadows and veil of night. If you can solve this riddle, then you will have understood my message. So when I will explain more about this. It's a very balance itself, and um the law of opposites. It's a very paradoxical relationship. And I explain that in the next passage. So how can water be wet? For example, water by nature is, sorry, not wet, dry. How can water be dry? Water by nature is wet, right? So how can water be dry? How can force be gentle, right? That is a very paradoxical nature, and a lot of the most important choices in our lives are paradoxical in nature. It means that, like a catch-22, you know, both can be right, both can be dry. So I say something like, how can water be dry? How can force be gentle? How can discipline lead to freedom? How can you let go while holding on? This is a very important concept. This isn't new, and you should take what you need and throw away the rest. So in this riddle, I'll try to put it in the description below, but take and with anything I present you with, try to take what you need and literally throw away the rest or keep it for later. I'm a big advocate of choice and free will. I'm not trying, and I think you're gonna sense that. I'm not trying to impose a certain way where you should think or act or do that. I'm just showing you how I process. And when I say by I, a lot of times, because I don't know you guys, like I don't know how where you are in life. I don't know your story. So maybe a lot of these things you've heard before, maybe you haven't. Maybe my point of view is a little bit different. Maybe I bring concepts that I don't resolve ultimately or in that specific time, but that is because a lot of times resolving a certain argument or paradox or arriving at an anecdote um, serves a purpose of intellectual superiority rather than actually help the person. Sometimes, like open-ended movies, for example, a lot of times a movie makes a point and then at the end it just leaves an open ending. You can interpret it or you can imagine it the way, so each one would have a different interpretation to that, right? So, and those are usually one of the most intellectually and honest approaches to when dealing with certain dilemmas, is allowing you guys to, and other investigators and thinkers and just public in general, to decide for themselves, trust you guys with your intellect, trust you with your the ability and interest to kind of see these things through or not. So the timing is yours, the choice is yours, and I advocate a lot for that. So again, I'll read the riddle one more time, and I'll try to leave it in the comments as well. And hey, if you're up to this moment, if you're following and you're interested, thank you so much. This will definitely be a long journey, and I'm here for it. So don't think too highly of yourself, but trust your instincts. Move in the world, but make sure your footprints are yours. Take advice, then see it in your heart that it is your own. The wise man keeps one eye on the road and one eye on the ground, for the road is long and has some sharp turns, and the stepping stones aren't always there. The grass will be tall and the signs will be scattered, and often your sense of direction will be off kilter. But know this, in your heart is a mirror and a compass, and you must polish and maintain, so it may guide you towards the light of truth, even when embraced by the darkest shadow and the veil of night. If you can solve this riddle, then you will have understood my message. And I'll leave you with this riddle. Can you solve this riddle? Because honestly, after all this time and all this thought and all this experience, I'm still kind of trying to solve this riddle. It's an ongoing um, solution, or it's an ongoing investigation. I haven't stopped. And although I, arrived at certain conclusions, at the same time, take what I offer you, evolve it, customize it, use it your way. It's a very important time right now for us to take responsibility for our choices and have deep understanding of topics, not just repeating certain maxims in order to achieve a certain result. That would definitely be an empty path, a path where even if you arrive at what you want, you will find that it's not that rewarding as you imagined. In the meantime, this was the investigator. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Take care and fare well.